The Geneva Motor Show is Europe's biggest and best, and once again it's full. Old cars, new cars, concept cars, and even one or two surprises. Probably no one in the organiser's office at Geneva has sat down to start counting up the totals for this year, but the numbers are scary and a clear indicator that this is the #1 car show in Europe. Half a dozen halls full of cars and car-related products, every major manufacturer represented, almost all of the minor and specialist makers, plus every kind of accessory you can think of. Hundreds and hundreds of exhibits in hall after jam-packed hall. Add in 4,000 journalists from 100 different countries and 750,000 visitors from almost as many different locations, and you begin to appreciate the scale of all this. And there's another great big exhibition hall opening soon, so next time it will be bigger than ever. So much to see, so many stands to visit, so little time in which to do it all, but this is as much of the Geneva Motor Show as our aching feet could handle. There are always a few surprises in Geneva, but this was the biggest, or rather these were. Peugeot took the covers off a pretty concept sports car, which is intended to be just that, a concept, not a production model. But never say never, and Peugeot have already said that the level of interest in the RC Duo greatly exceeded their expectations. Surely they must have been prepared for the reaction to these two though, and surely the level of practicality and diversity involved is indicative of a production line potential. The RC 2+2 is a split personality concept, and it's not just limited to the two-tone red and black colour and trim. The Diamond, the red one, comes with a 2.2 diesel engine that develops 175 horsepower, and that means standstill to 60 in 6 seconds and a top speed of 143 miles an hour. With a 2-litre petrol unit and an identical 6-speed press-button gearbox, the RC Spades, that's the black one, has similar figures on acceleration and top speed and shares the carbon fibre construction of its twin. No plans for production, says Peugeot firmly, but look at the family face and ask yourself, couldn't this be the new 406 Coupe? Couldn't it? Please? Oh well, never mind. Just sit back, relax and dream. Fiat's Ulysses people carrier first appeared in 1994. The same year we saw the Peugeot 806 and the Citroën Synergy. Not, as you probably expect and may know, a coincidence of timing at all, but rather the result of the platform sharing we all take for granted now. The new Ulysses appeared at Geneva, and you will hardly be amazed to discover that the new Peugeot and Citroën were also on display. Although you might do a small double take in the light of Fiat's new alliance with GM, which has seen the two groups swap some shares and set up a new 100-strong division in Italy to begin product purchasing and sharing in areas that are not brand-specific, say powertrain for example, and which Fiat expects will generate a saving of €1 billion by 2005. However, that's a bit in the future maybe, and the new MPV has its roots further back in the past. Certainly the previous arrangements about platform plus engine and drivetrain have been continued, although this time around the three vehicles do look different. Underneath, and as with the three previous models, the replacement was a joint effort and engine sharing is the name of the game. Two 4-cylinder diesels, two 4-cylinder petrols and a 200 horsepower V6 petrol engine make up the range, which has been aggressively sized and priced against the market-leading competitor from Volkswagen and Ford, the Sharon Galaxy. As the cheapest of this trio, the Fiat certainly looks like it could be the best buy of the three. As the upmarket arm of the Fiat group, excluding specialist sports car makers Ferrari and Maserati of course, Lancia is also in on the MPV act, and their version of the same vehicle, formerly the Zeta or just Z, has been renamed Fedra or Fedra in this latest version. As you might expect, this is the luxury end of the three groups' product ranges, and it's mostly evidenced by shiny trim sprinkled around the outside and plush leather in all directions on the inside. It seems to us that a vehicle like this one may be more likely to find a home at work rather than in the home, by which we mean that there is definitely a market for upmarket shuttles, and the Lancia could well find itself being used by hotels and hire firms and so on, especially since it retains, like the rest of the range from all three manufacturers, the sliding rear door system which provides such easy access to the rear seats. And that door system comes with a power assist as well. Again, not unique to Lancia, which means you can open the rear doors with one touch of a dashboard button or remotely from outside with a press on the key fob. Add in Fiat's impressive and widely praised Connect telematics, allowing you to do all sorts of interesting things like book air tickets and make hotel reservations and so on, plus the swivelling captain's chairs up front, which gives you a conference configuration inside, and you've got a winner for the posh shuttle marketplace. That won't exclude it from the home market though, and to prove it, the Lancia will come with the same choice of power units as the other models on the same platform. There's always been a good variety, but the new model introduction has signalled the way for all nameplates to offer the choice of all engines, which wasn't so before. So while we'd expect commercial buyers like hotels, hire firms and limousine companies to choose Fedra with the 200 horsepower V6 engine, there's still an option for private buyers or indeed taxi firms to select either of the two turbo diesel units, and we guess the 2.2 with 130 horsepower compared to the 109 of the 2-litre will be the one that gets the most votes. Both of the 4-cylinder petrol engines compare or excel on power, 138 and 160, but obviously not on consumption, so there will be plenty of chance to express yourself when choosing spec for the Fedra. Quite clearly that extends inside the vehicle as well as underneath its bonnet. We suspect that most people's choices will be the same as ours, and that's to have the V6 along with all these lovely Lancia extras, and in cases where price obviously isn't the prime motivating factor, we'd expect most Lancia badged MPVs to be built that way. To most eyes, the Peugeot 807 806, as was, is the better looking of the two mainstream models on show in Geneva. Citroën chose to keep their Synergy replacement to be called the C8 under wraps in the run-up to the Geneva show, rather than allow it to be compared in advance to its arch rival, at least in France, the also revamped Renault Espace. Interesting idea because most people expected the Citroën to be the most elegant of the platform-sharing trio, which is how it turned out to our eyes at least, while the newest Spass is just a teensy bit brutal, as we shall see in a moment. That said, there's not a great world of difference in appearance between the C8 and the 807, especially head-on and rear-on. That's mostly because the Peugeot has the elegant family face of the latest 2 and 3 Series models with similar grille and light configurations, and therefore is a long way short of being the ugly duckling in the nest. In fact, we must say that honour falls to the Fiat, and not all the chrome trim and leather in the world can save the Lancia from taking its place right alongside it on the top step of the podium. But, as we've also said, the Fiat wins on price, if nothing else, and the Lancia on pure snob value. So the style battle is between Citroën and Peugeot. And it, as ever, is a question of taste and also, to an extent, a question of brand loyalty. While few people will swap a 407 for a C8, not many will swap between the Peugeot Citroën Fiat alliance and the daddy of them all, the Renault Espace. The Matra-built, plastic-bodied Espace set all the trends in this market segment when it first appeared almost 20 years ago, but now plastic is dead and the new Espace, with lots of Laguna-derived styling cues to cheer up potential buyers, is almost all metal, with only occasional composite panels built in to keep weight down. Espace 2 comes with a big range of engines, and when it goes on sale at the end of this year, expect to have the choice of a 3-litre turbo diesel like the one in Velsatis and a 3.5 V6 like the Nissan 350Z, in addition to basic 2-litre engines that will probably account for the bulk of sales. Sales which will depend on whether or not you like the new Renault styling. So far so good, but coming up next, an interesting vehicle that's more concept than car, and another one that's likely to be the complete opposite. We depend on Rin Speed to keep us thinking and smiling, and we'll be looking at their latest in a moment. But first, a concept for Rover resurgence. As the car maker fights back towards solvency and profit, the TCV, Tourer Concept Vehicle, is the first idea of what future products might look like. Drawn by design guru Peter Stevens, the TCV is the first clean sheet vehicle to emerge from Rover since the takeover, and though only a styling model, it does represent the way forward. On the stand in Geneva, TCV was shown as a signpost to future designs, a strong indication of the way future products are going to look. That's always the case with concept cars, but of course this one is more important for Rover than a similar exercise might be for Opel or Ford, for example, simply because it points the way to the first new car produced entirely in-house under Rover's new management. That makes it the most significant concept car in Geneva, and you have to take it seriously because, as its computer-generated illustration of how the interior all works together demonstrates, TCV has been designed for genuine production feasibility. And it reflects what we've been seeing at shows all over the world. Recent developments in world car markets reflect a growth in new categories like MPVs, big estates and various crossover and hybrid vehicles. Now Rover's got its own crossover, a car that has some of the butch height and body language of the Audi Allroad, but offers first and foremost the sort of comfort and convenience for which the Rover nameplate still has a serious reputation. Its starting point fulfills the normal tourer role, a modern lifestyle estate car with a 5-passenger cabin, and in this guise its main features are based on that adaptable seating plan. The 3 back seats fold flush with the rear floor, the front passenger seat also folds to the same level, and that allows several combinations of passengers and loads. And any folded seats can be used in tabletop mode. Very long items of more than 3 metres can also fit inside, and the centre rear seat can be replaced with various slot-in modules. The rear doors hinge well forward to give access to the load space, and the bumper also hinges open, revealing a large underfloor stowage compartment. The main load floor can be removed to create a cargo space with full depth access from the rear. Rovers say that TCV gives a strong indication of the way the design team is developing a new personality for Rover. All in all, this is an integral part of a programme which is destined to spawn a new generation of MG and Rover products. Production oriented, yes, the first of these will go on sale, say Rover, in 2004. Over the years we've had more fun with Rinspeed than any other single car maker, and this year, as the Swiss designers celebrate 25 years in business, we're pleased to see that they have lost none of their ability to look at the motoring world through a pair of sideways spectacles. This time around they've taken a fresh look at the problem of parking in the city environment and come up with a fresh solution. Very fresh. Oh, all right then, it's weird, the same as always. Good looking enough in a modern and slightly rounded sort of way, the Presto is a 4-seat, 4-metre car that can cruise to your destination. And then, for easy parking, transform at the press of a button into a 2-seater, 2-and-a-bit-metre car. Hey, Presto, in fact. Rinspeed, in character as ever, speak of this engineering feat as an almost magical transformation, which is just another one of the many reasons we like the company and its cars so much. But in fact it's not magic at all, my word, no, it's not even done by mirrors, but by one big electric motor, which stretches the vehicle by turning 2 mechanical screw and nut gears, which extend themselves and the entire car by 750 millimetres, or shorten it by the same amount. The chassis members run on low friction rollers and, in an action similar to the drawing, your kitchen units disappear into the rear floor. The big worry from such an action is that you might end up with something like one of those bendy buses, but Rinspeed are happy that the engineers have included the torsional rigidity necessary for a roadster. And to erase another worry from your mind, the extension mechanism also features self-locking safety latches. Under the bonnet is a 4-cylinder 1.7 common rail turbo diesel, which is basically a Mercedes unit, but in a typical Rinspeed fashion, there's a twist. This one runs on a mixture of natural gas and diesel fuel at a 40-to-60 ratio. Natural gas is a very clean burning fuel which consists almost entirely of methane, with a sulphur content near zero. But since a diesel engine has no spark plug to act as an ignition source, operation on natural gas alone is technically impossible. To get around that minor problem, natural gas is injected into the intake air of the engine, and this mixture is then ignited by the diesel fuel under compression in the normal way, getting more bang for a given volume of intake. Achieving this requires the addition of a storage tank for the natural gas, plus a gas injection system and extensive reprogramming of the engine management system. The benefits are clear. Emissions, nitrous oxides and carbon dioxide are reduced by as much as 10% compared to the already low level of the production engine, and particulate emission down by as much as 40%. With emissions this low, the dual fuel engine easily meets all existing and currently planned emission limits. Diesel fuel consumption can be improved by up to 10% compared to the production engine. But it still delivers good performance. Maximum power, 120 horsepower. That means the Presto accelerates from standstill to 100 kilometres an hour in around 10 seconds and reaches a top speed of approximately 180. So much for the technicalities. Despite radical engineering, the Presto is, by Rinspeed standards anyway, relatively conventional in appearance. That said, it's deliberately designed with that smiling face on it, a head-on appearance that Rinspeed claims says, "Hi, I'm in a good mood." And that even though it has front lights from the Mercedes C-Class Sports Coupe. Delightfully, and just as it's all getting to be alarmingly practical, the Presto includes one feature we all know will never be used in any production car ever. Presto replaces boringly conventional light signals, flashing yellow to turn, red to stop, etc., with written warnings to other drivers, spelling out the word stop during braking and turn when you signal right or left. Under running lights, Presto spells out its own name to anyone behind. Marvellous.